The devotion you are listening to today is a Monday through Friday devotion that's entitled Devotions with Brother Aaron. These devotions are 5 to 10 minutes in length, never any more than 10 minutes, usually in the 6 or 7 minute range. And I have purposely structured them this way so that you could listen to them as you're doing something else, maybe getting ready to go to work, maybe driving on your way to work or your lunch break or before you go to bed at night. And they're not long, like I said, and that's purposely structured that way. So if you haven't already, please like us on our social media outlets. Facebook is Fresh Fire Ministries, Hogansville, Georgia. I want you to follow the page there. YouTube is Fresh Fire Ministries with Aaron McCullough. I want you to hit the subscribe button there. And then X is Fresh Fire Georgia. You can like us there. All right, today you're going to hear a devotion entitled Too Full to Receive God. Hope you get a blessing. An old samurai warrior, approaching the twilight years of his life, began to think about what lay ahead for him. The warrior approached a priest and demanded, "Tell me about God." The wise old priest said, "I will tell you about God, but before I do, tell me about yourself." The old warrior began to tell the priest of the many glorious victories he had won while fighting for the emperor. The warrior spoke for quite some time about his incredible experiences and the pride and honor associated with being a samurai warrior. Then, when he had finished speaking, he again demanded, "Tell me about God." The wise old priest responded, "I will tell you about God, but first let's have a cup of tea." The priest began to pour the tea into the samurai's cup. The priest continued to pour, even as it spilled over the rim and began to fill the saucer. Then it spilled over the saucer onto the table and poured onto the floor. In amazement, the samurai asked the priest why he had continued pouring the tea even though the cup was full. The priest replied, "The cup is like your heart. You've asked to know God, but your heart is really filled with many other things. The goodness of God cannot be received into your heart until first you empty your heart of those other things." Friend, I wonder how many people will fill churches across America this coming Sunday who are genuinely seeking God, but don't realize that their hearts are so full of everything else that they cannot receive Him. I wonder how many people will sit in church pews this Sunday with hearts filled with business transactions, schemes for climbing the corporate ladder, marital problems, family problems, financial problems, church problems, social problems, or anger. I wonder how many people will miss God this Sunday because their hearts were too full of other things to receive Him when He passed by. In my secular career, I invested many years of my time and effort into climbing the corporate ladder. I was very blessed and successful with my efforts. With God's help, I worked my way up from packing car mats on the midnight shift at one of the local manufacturing firms to becoming plant manager at another. But I'm sad to say that on many occasions during that time, my heart was filled with things other than God. Often there was no room left in my heart to receive the good things of God and of life because it was so full of my dreams and ambitions. I remember when my baby daughter started college. My wife and I suddenly found ourselves right back where we had started 25 years earlier, just the two of us. There was something very sobering about that moment. In retrospect, I realized that if I had it to do all over again, I would spend a whole lot less time climbing the corporate ladder and a whole lot more time throwing a baseball with my boys and being the most honored guest at my daughter's tea parties. Perhaps for the first time, I began to realize just how quickly time goes by. Today, I'm many years removed from when my baby daughter moved out and left my wife and I with an empty nest. We already had a couple of grandchildren when the empty nest thing happened, and since then we've added even more grandchildren and 2 great-grandchildren. I wish I could tell you that I now have a handle on this thing. Truth is, I do not. I remember when my oldest granddaughter turned 15 and started learning to drive. A couple of years later, she graduated from high school and started college. Then, at 23 years of age, she went to be with Jesus. Again, I find myself wishing I'd spent more time with her. If I had my life to live over, my prayer would be, Lord, empty me of me and fill me with you. Help me realize that joy in this life is not found in reaching a destination. Joy is found by taking the time to experience life together and to fully develop our relationships with family and friends as we pass this way together on our way somewhere else. God help us not to be so full of other things that there's no room left for the truly important things. Jesus, as I come before you today, I do so fully admitting, God, that it's all too easy for us to let all the things in life take the place in our heart where you want to dwell, Lord. And God, I'm reminded that you're a gentleman. You're not going to force your way on any of us. And that, Lord, if we want more of you, then we've got to empty ourselves of things, Lord, so that there's room for you. God, there may be somebody listening to this devotion today that, Lord, you just use this devotion to, Lord, kind of slap them upside the head and say, listen to him, listen to him. All this other junk you're involved in doesn't really matter. It's your relationship with me. God, would you burn that in our hearts? And I ask this in your name. Amen.